Hello, and welcome to the Self-Service Membership Portal training for Special Olympics Ontario, providing year-round sports training and athletic competition for individuals with intellectual disabilities. The Self-Service Membership Portal orientation was originally presented at the Fall Conference in 2018, but is being re-recorded here for wider volunteer use.
This presentation will provide an overview for how most users will access the Self-Service Membership Portal. Special Olympics Ontario recognizes that this is a new platform, that there are fixes to be made, and we continue to receive feedback for improvements. Advanced use is not a priority for this session, and such questions may be brought forth for future consideration.
Welcome to the machine. We would like for you to ask not what you can do for the portal, but instead ask what the portal can do for you.
Let's take a journey through time. In the olden days, an area coordinator would come to the twice-annual preseason coaches meeting with a box of printed reports for each club in the region. If you didn't come to the meeting, community coordinators or head coaches would receive these in the mail. You received these once a year. Then came Active SOC. After years of promises, Special Olympics Canada launched an online database that 1 or 2 volunteers in each community could be trained on to access and maintain membership records in their community and create reports for their coaches' use. Now we have the portal. This self-service portal allows members to access database information at the level that they need it. In addition to reports similar to what Active SOC offered, the portal has huge potential for providing enhanced use in a technologically stable environment. This training is the very basic for most use case scenarios.
So, over the course of this orientation, we're going to go into a little bit more detail on some of the basics for the membership portal. But to start off, you might be asking yourself, what is the portal? Well, the portal is an online membership management resource. You might also ask yourself, where is the portal? It's quite easy. You can find the portal at portal.specialolympics.ca. Who can use the portal? Well, that's the beauty of it. Everyone can use it. It's for athletes, coaches, volunteers, and educators. All members can access the portal and manage their own information. Why do we have the portal? Members are now able to maintain their own information and for leaders' information for a club or community that they lead. This is democratization of information at its finest. Now we're going to get into how to use the portal. The following will be a series of use case scenarios, and we're going to talk about the different levels of engagement that different positions within the organization can engage within the portal.
If you are a new athlete or volunteer, you can use the portal to apply to join as a member in programs in your community. By simply visiting the portal's homepage, you can click on Join Program as an athlete or as a volunteer.
If you are an existing member of the organization, you'll be able to register to use the portal, not necessarily as a new member, but as an existing member, when your information will already be stored within the portal. All you have to do is click on Portal User Registration. It will ask you to fill out your first name, your last name, your email, as well as a password. And then your information will be emailed off to you for further use.
If you are an athlete or an occasional volunteer, you or your family member or supporter can maintain your contact information, view the information for programs you're involved in, and register for other programs in your community. Simply log in at the portal using your email address and password, and then click on the role that you have within the organization. This leads to the next page where you can click on any assortment of tabs, including your address, your medical information, add your emergency contacts, and see what other programs that you're involved in.
As an assistant coach, you're able to maintain your own personal contact information, view the information for the programs you're involved in. However, you're also able to register for other programs in your community, as well as view the roster for the club that you are the assistant coach for, as well as create reports for that club. So as an assistant coach, you have the basic level of engagement with your own personal information, as well as some additional access to information for the club with which you are the assistant coach. If you were to click on the assistant coach role in your roles page once you're logged in, it will give you an opportunity to find all of the information for that community club, again, for which you are the assistant coach.
If you are a head coach or a team manager, or in our schools programs you are an educator coach, you can maintain your contact information, view the information for those programs you're involved in, and register for other programs in your community. You can also view the roster for the club that you coach or manage. You can also manage the roster by changing member status. You can add or remove athletes or volunteers involved in your program. You can maintain the contact information for the athletes on the team that you coach or manage. You can also create reports for your club and also approve new member enrollment applications. Approvals will be covered later in this presentation. When you come to the portal, you will log in using your email and password, and you will click on the role that you'd like to proceed with to find the information for. So if you are a head coach, that's what you will click on as your head coach role. You'll have expanded menu items on the right, and you can look at, in this example, you are looking at your active enrollments, and you can see that you have your athletes, and you can click on the little pencil icon to open up one of your athletes' profiles. When the athlete's profile is opened, and you might like to change that status, for example, that athlete is no longer involved with your club, you can remove them, you can cancel their status, put the date that they were finished, and submit.
As a community coordinator, data administrator, volunteer or athlete coordinator, or on the school side, a school program coordinator, or as we refer to them as the head coach or main contact for that individual school, you are, again, still able to maintain your own personal contact information, view all the information for the programs with which you're involved, register for other programs in your community, or school board or school area, view the roster for all the clubs in your community. However, you're also able to manage the roster for all the clubs in your community, maintain contact information for all members in your community or school, create reports for your community or school, approve enrollments, applications for new and returning members, as well as monitor processes such as recurring police record checks. So if you were to click on Data Administrator from your volunteer roles once you've logged in, you'll have an opportunity to approve enrollments within your community. The community overseeing every single club and sport that is active within that community, and then again, on the school side, a community is represented by a school itself. So the Data Administrator is able to oversee all of the programs and clubs that are active within their specific community.
We'll now move on to the approvals process. When new members register with the organization, or when existing members apply for other programs in their community, they need to be approved. The head coach or team manager can approve existing members being added to their program. The community data administrator can approve existing members being added to any program in the community. When new members apply to be an athlete or volunteer with the organization, Special Olympics Ontario first approves the new athlete or volunteer to ensure that there is no duplication in the membership management system. Once a new athlete is approved at the chapter level, they move on to community approval so that wait lists or other factors can be considered before their application is accepted for approval. Lead portal users must regularly monitor the Approvals tab for incoming program enrollment applications. Communities without a lead portal user will be alerted of incoming program enrollment applications via traditional methods, such as email. We can now view the chart for the approval flow for new members applying for enrollment. A brand new member needs chapter approval from Special Olympics Ontario to confirm and create the member record, and then it moves on for community or coach approval. A returning member goes straight to the community or coach for approval.
We will now speak in more detail about the enrollments process. There are two basic participant member roles. There's athlete and there's unified partner. Unified partner is a new designation that falls within our unified sports programming currently offered in schools. There are various volunteer roles in each of several categories. The following are a few examples. As a coach, you could be an assistant coach or a head coach. In sport, you could be a team manager, sport technical coordinator. In families, you could be a family coordinator or a group home coordinator. Or in finance and fundraising, you could be a treasurer, signing officer, and fundraiser. And as a reference back to our use case scenarios, again, as in any of these member roles, you would have varying degrees of access to information for the programs that you are involved with in your community. It's all about status. Regardless of your role within the membership portal, you can have a different status depending on where you are with the programs in your community. For example, your status could be submitted, which means that an application has been completed but not necessarily approved or even seen by the people that need to approve that submission. Your status could be pending, which means that an application is awaiting approval or documentation. Your status could be approved, which means that the member will be welcomed into whichever program they've applied for. Your status could be active, which means that you are currently actively involved in the program session. Your status could also be expired, which is an automatic status once a session is complete, and we will speak about sessions in a little bit more detail later on. Your status could also be invalid, which is a non-approval following review of an individual application. Your status could also be canceled, which is a deliberate removal from a session or program. Your status could be suspended, which is obviously removed from a program for a set period of time. Or your status could be terminated, which is when a member has been removed and not to return. Member enrollments. Each member is enrolled in the following levels. You are automatically enrolled with Special Olympics Ontario, which is your chapter. You are also automatically enrolled in your region, which we recognize can be mildly confusing given that we used to work on a region basis. But when the membership portal says region in Ontario, it really refers to your district. So if, for example, your district was Central Ontario, on the portal, Central Ontario would be listed as your region. Community or school. Barrie would be your community, or if you were enlisted as a school athlete in Barrie, your community might be listed as Bear Creek Secondary School. Your club or school program. Again, if you live in Barrie and are an athlete, you could be enlisted and enrolled in the Barrie Snowcats program or the Bear Creek Kodiaks basketball team. And then, of course, more specifically, your program session, which is specific to a season or school year.
We will now talk a little bit more about sessions. A session is a school year for a school program or a sports season for our community sports. Session information will include the start and end date of the program, the day and time and location of the program, and any registration information, including the cost to participate. Sessions must be approved in order to confirm that programs continue to be active and that members are returning. In the membership portal, when you click on club sessions for your club, you will see them listed and you can add a new session for the subsequent season. Program session details are included. When we open up the club session for the program, we can see them listed, and you can create your subsequent season's session. When you click on the session, you will see that it lists the start and end date for the session. You can indicate if there's a capacity on the number of athletes that can participate, and you can also indicate the cost to participate. The lead portal user for each program must create a new session before the new season. This allows the portal to show a history of members' enrollment in each session for that sport club. Currently, with the launch of the new membership portal, all sport club sessions will expire on August 31st, 2019, and members will be expired on September 1st, 2019. For larger community programs, duplicate community sports sessions can be created by Special Olympics Ontario on request. Duplicate school year sessions will be created and approved by Special Olympics Ontario.
And now, of course, we will speak about the reports. We will now speak in more detail about the reports and how those reports can be used. Reports can be created for viewing, sharing, as well as printing. Excel reports may be edited and condensed for customized use and sharing. Feedback on the types of reports that the portal is able to produce and what they contain continues to be received from users by Special Olympics Ontario staff and shared with database developers. Down at the bottom, once you are logged in your specific volunteer role, you're able to click on Membership Reports. Currently, the report lists are sports statistics, CRC detail, member reports, detailed member reports for athletes as well as volunteers, and then an individual profile report. And once again, this list is currently being edited and developed as we receive more feedback from portal users. If you were to open up a detailed member listing for volunteers, you would be able to choose your specific region, which again is your district, your community, your club, and then you'd be able to go into more detail about the program, program type, organization type, the genders, enrollment status for the volunteers that you're looking to understand, and then of course, create the report itself. Once you've created the report and you've opened the Excel document, you're able to then customize that report, and you can remove sensitive information for more widespread sharing. You can look up the information and organize it however you wish, and then use that report however you were originally intending to. Now we'll get into a few what-if scenarios.
What if I have an email address, but it's not in my profile? Well, because the email address is a unique identifier, only chapter staff, that is Special Olympics Ontario's membership administrator or your district developer, may add an email to your profile.
What if I use a corporate email such as volunteer.southsimcoe@specialolympicsontario.ca? Well, we strongly encourage users to use their personal email address for accessing the self-service portal. Corporate email addresses are intended to be transferred to the next person in that role and may compromise your access to the portal and your profile. For example, if you are the volunteer coordinator for South Simcoe and you use that email as your personal identifier for the portal, once you no longer become the volunteer coordinator, you will still need to use that email address for your portal login as opposed to changing it to your personal one, which is why we encourage all members at all times to simply use their personal email address to log in to the portal.
What if I don't have an email address? The email address for a family member or support person can be added to my profile so that they can access the self-service portal. If I don't have an email address, I can't access the self-service portal, and my profile can be updated by my head coach or the community database administrator. I cannot register as a new athlete in the portal without an email address, so we'll have to register using traditional methods such as an online registration form.
What if several members use the same email address? As we mentioned earlier, there is a portal role for a family coordinator or group home coordinator, which would allow them to access and maintain several member profiles. These roles are currently in the process of being developed to their full capacity.
What if I see an email in my inbox from Special Olympics? That means that your submission to join a new club has been received. That's the first email you'll receive. And you have been approved to join that new club. That would be the second email you receive. This is an example of the two emails that you would receive. The one on the left would be received after you've applied to be in a club, and the one on the right is the one that you would receive once you've been approved to join a club.
So why is the self-service membership portal important? It's important because information can now be considered correct at the source, i.e. the members themselves. That includes medical information, emergency contact information, updated NCCP training, as well as police check tracking. This allows Special Olympics Ontario to confirm that all contact information is up to date, just as all people are required to update their own personal information as they register for other online services such as Amazon. So where do we go from here? The beauty of the membership portal is that the possibilities are really endless. We've already talked a little bit about our ability to provide families and group home portal roles. We're now looking at doing things like online payments, as well as games endorsements and applications, event registration, as well as further tracking for learning and training for all of our members.
Thank you for making your way through this orientation. Further training material for portal use is available from Special Olympics Ontario. If you have any questions about SOO's membership portal, please contact your district developer.